As promised, if you're visiting my Facebook page, welcome to ANOW Technologies. I was going to talk about that great hack that I thought was most interesting. It was actually Paris Hilton. And if you're on Facebook, there's a lot to learn from this hack. Well, because of the onslaught of her show during a time when, before, um, I guess, your agent instructed you, but she had set up all of her accounts on Facebook and every account that she had with all of her security questions. Remember, we were talking about security questions in the ad. And one of her security questions was, what's the name of your first pet? Well, because of the Paris Hilton show, everybody knew the name of her pet. Everybody knew what street she grew up on. Everybody knew all of the personal data because she was just out there advertising it, trying to get people to come to her show and may be interested in what she was what she was advertising. Well, because of that, they got into everything. They got into personal photos. They've gotten into her bank account. All just opened it wide open because once they get in a little bit, it's hard to get them out because you basically have to go through and change every little bit of information. Which is why Paris Hilton is my favorite hack of all time because it was completely done on social engineering. And I want to know how many of you advertise on Facebook what your name of your dog is, or what the name of your cat is, or who was your best friend in high school. All of that information is out there. Which leads me to the second part of this educational program, this PSA. Information is only as secure as it's worth. And a teacher told me that one time. And if you think about the words, you'll understand. Fort Knox isn't in. You cannot make Fort Knox completely and totally secure. What you do is you make it to where it's more expensive to get in there than what you're going to get. So you need to ask your self questions when you're signing up for an account or when you're trying to make a secure network. One of them being, how much is this thing that I'm logging into, how much is it worth? If it's your credit card information and you have a $30,000 line of credit and you're worried about, someone breaking in and getting a hold of your credit information, technically it should take over $30,000 to break in to that account. If your Social Security number, if you are guaranteed a $100,000 house loan, your Social Security number should cost $100,000 to break into. That because the thing is, people don't hack for the fun of it. They don't. I shouldn't say hack for the fun of it. I should say people that have money on their mind aren't going to spend more money trying to get something that's valuable. If you have a car stereo in your car and it's been you spent $5,000 on your car stereo. Well, you would put $5,000 of insurance on it, or you would get a car system that cost $5,000 to break in. That may be concrete, but even if you buried your car in a cinder block of concrete, so if it costs that much to break in, and somebody has to spend, more than $5,000 to rent the tools to break into your car, they're not going to do it. It isn't worth it. They're losing money. That is a form of security where what you call in-house security. So if I have $10,000 worth of computer systems in my business, I need to make sure that someone needs to spend $10,000 to break in. So, or you can do what's litigation or migration of cost. You insure it for $10,000. But once again, when you're dealing with an insurance company, if you can make it where it costs more to break in for someone to break in, then they give you a lower rate. So your security is extremely important, extremely so. And the rule of thumb is whatever that information is worth is how much it should cost to get it out. So if you have, I'm drawing a memory of a company that I worked for. They did sales. They did sales for a roofing company did sales. And he had a client list and a sales list of all these good employees with contact information, who to talk to and everything. And he figured up that he was making about $100,000 off of this sales list of all the right names to talk to in each one of the businesses. Well, he should have that information secured by $100,000 because that's what it's worth. And that's a year. Next year it may only be 80, so you don't have to worry about the security. So when you're doing information security, when you're trying to secure your information, you ask, how much does it cost? If I lost this information, how much does it cost if someone were to use this information against me? How much does it cost? How much is it worth if they stole it? So when you're doing information security, always make sure you add a value to something. I've seen people spend thousands and thousands of dollars to protect their family with security systems. And some rough areas in St. Louis, they had full-blown security systems that notified them if someone walked by the front door. And you can't put a cost on your family's life. By no means, I understand that. But I go to their shop where they have all their computer systems, and not one PC there has a password lock on it, or they all share the same password for every computer system because it was easy to set up. And I go on there, and it's got all of his sales information, his payroll, how much his business is worth, and I'm like, you secure your home, why aren't you securing your data? And a very wise man once said, there's nothing new underneath the sun. This isn't a new idea. This is how insurance companies work. They sit there and they say, well, how much is this worth? How much can we insure it for? And what is the chances of it getting broken into? There's nothing new underneath the sun. Computers are the exact same way. Instead of a guy wearing a mask and holding a gun breaking into a bank, there is a man there that's trying to skim credit cards. So I just wanted to share one of my favorite hacks because it shows you, it's not necessarily the computer system that's getting hacked, it's the human being that is. Some other things that you need to be, if you're working in a secure location, there was a study done on what's known as tailgating. And tailgating is, I use my badge to open up a door, and when I walk through, the door closes behind me. And they did a study on how many people could get around that easily, just breaking into a place because somebody scanned the door and the door shut behind them. And what they did was, this study, they installed 2 doors, 2 of them. One that was easy to open up from the very front, and you'd walk in and they'd have a little video camera, and then you badged and walked through and the door would shut behind you. And what they had found out was just the addition of a $200 door that was just on a automatic closer, they had shored up 80% of tailgating, because the only way that they could tailgate is if that back door was opened and somebody was standing right behind them. Very simple solution. Those kind of solutions are what's known with security ROI, or return on investment. If you were worried about, I'm sure we've all seen the horror movie where the victim is opening up the door to their house and someone is hiding in the bush and then jumps out right when they unlock the door and pushes them in the door. If you had another door behind you, it wouldn't be that way. Believe it or not, if you really wanted, if any of my banking customers were considering this, or if there's a bank out there, if you were to put a door on ATMs where they open the door and then have the door shut behind them before they can go in, because I only deal with banks where the ATM is inside. And the reason I do that is I know someone isn't out there with a video camera really far away or binoculars looking at my PIN while I put it in. I only go inside to use an ATM. Something that you can do to protect yourself from what's known as a skimming attack. And they use all of these words that never really make any sense in information security. Skimming, tailgating, social engineering. And it's basically just basically all of it is common sense. What a skimmer is, and you can do this while you're at the ATM if you ever have to do an ATM and you're not familiar with it, just when you go up to where you put your card in, feel around it, shake it. Shake the component, put your hand around it, put your hand around it, and feel and see if there's anything stuck there. Because what a skimmer is, a skimming device, is they put it on the front end of the reader, and your card slides past it before it goes into the machine, and then it slides right out. And they can get your credit card information off of that. And some of them have gotten so good at it that when they slide their card in, they'll put up a little camera up in the tree that watches to see what your PIN is. I'm going to show you something I do at gas stations. I go up to the PIN. So let me get my camera here. I go up to the PIN, and let's just say the PIN pad is right here. This right here is probably one of the best security systems you have. Because if you notice, when I'm typing, you can't see what button I'm pushing. Just putting your hand over the top and typing it is, you can do that at gas stations. You can do it at Walmart, anywhere you use your credit card or debit card. You know, especially with debit cards, that PIN is very powerful. And using just covering up your hand when you do a PIN is a good thing. Actually, I almost applauded Casey's. I didn't say anything when I was there because I knew the clerk wouldn't care, but Casey's had put a covering around it, a rubber covering that you can't see while you're pushing. Casey's is a good place to use debit. Another place I like is, I always pick a gas station where I feel the safest using my credit card or my debit card. And I'm not going to get into politics with, you know, breaking in and the Russia thing. I'm not even going to bother with that. But with the advent of this supposed attacks or supposed hacking, what that means is it's going to become a normal part of life. Just like you hear somebody, you read the paper and you see somebody that had did embezzlement, or you hear about somebody. Somebody, even in the old days, somebody getting a speeding ticket on 159. That used to be in the paper. If you got a speeding ticket on 159, you'd be in the paper that somebody got a ticket, somebody gets a DUI. These cyber attacks are going to become commonplace. Just here in Glen Carbon, I could tell that we got hit by a cyber attack of someone passing fake notes or fake bills, because I noticed all of a sudden everybody's got a bill verifier, and it's becoming a normal part of our life. It's becoming, there was a time when people didn't lock their cars, a time when people didn't lock their doors to their house, and over the time, all of a sudden, we've got security systems that watch 24 hours a day. Internet security and information security is going to be the same way. When there's going to be defensive classes even, and that's what I'm trying to do. Is I'm trying to get the word out. If you remember when people were hiding underneath people's cars, and like I said, there's nothing new underneath the sun. I want to make sure you understand that. But there was a time when people would go out to their car and their car door wasn't locked, and somebody was in the back seat and would wait until they were on the highway and then rob them, because they're how do you do that? You're not even around somewhere where you can do it. They'd be like, just pull over here. They'd rob you and then just walk out and have somebody pick them up. There was no way to connect it, and they started giving defensive classes and defensive classes. When you walk to your car, make sure there's nobody in the back seat, make sure there's nobody underneath. And with this information age, we're going to have the same thing. And I'm trying to catch that wave and basically give out stuff that I think would just help the community. Because every time a credit card is stolen, every time somebody's information is stolen, what it does is it adds a cost to the entire community. And then, like I said, I was graced with a very nice education. I was educated at Lewis and Clark, an advanced program. I had a lot of experience. Just kind of always been at the right place at the right time for a job, which is why I'm starting a business, is because it seems I'm always in the right time in the right place. But I've learned a lot about information security. You may get upset. I remember A lot of people get upset when they have to call the IT help desk because they're like, "What is your employee ID? Uh, do you have what is your what floor are you on?" They'd ask all these weird questions. I remember when we first started having to do that on the help desk, people were like, "I'm in the company, I'm calling you." And we're like, "Well, we have an outside line. People can call from outside and just say that they're a nurse. I need to verify who you are." And because of that, somebody could just call my desk phone. A lot of a help desk, you can call straight up. If you have the root number, you can call the help desk and appear to be coming in from inside the company. Even a patient, if they were walking through the hospital, could just pick up a phone, and if they saw the help number, they could call it, which had happened. We had patients calling the IT help desk trying to get information on where the patient that they were coming to visit, or how to get down to the gift shop. And we're like, "Man, we're not an information company. We're not an information help desk. This is the IT help desk." And it was just because, in ignorance, because it happens, we've been learning with this IT, people were putting the help desk number right on the phone. So, but some other things that you can do to secure yourself, and this is just simple things that, if you knew the reason behind why we suggest it or why IT wants you to do it a certain way, really makes a difference. If you have a building where you're scared for somebody tailgating their way in, let's just say you have an office in the back where you have a safe or something, you want to add another level of protection, just have the contractor come out and put another door in front of it, just because they know they won't be tailgated. It can even have windows on it, so you can see in there to make sure that there's, not something funny going on there, or a booth. But you just put another doorway on the front of the door. All offices where you have money should have a two-door system. Another thing that can be beneficial is your phone. Passcodes. A simple passcode not only will protect your data more often, because as we move further in the information technology world, we have more and more apps that just log you directly into a bank account. It adds a level of security, and they have biometric, and there's about a million different ways that you can lock your phone. But the thing is, there's a benefit, and if you have children, you'll be following me right along with this. Have you ever had that kid that buys, $30 worth of video game stuff on the Facebook game, or a free game that you have, and they buy $30 worth of gold, actual $30 worth of gold in the video game? It keeps your little ones out. And the thing is, they make these things to be as intuitive as possible, the easiest to use. So it's not beyond a 4-year-old to figure out how to get into that game. It's not beyond somebody, you laying your phone at a bar, somebody just picking up your phone and getting into it and finding out what your bank account information is, or finding all of your contacts. So I don't know, I hope this was informative, and if you guys like these videos, if you could, just let me know in comments or suggestions. I would really appreciate it, because these do take time. I know I'm videotaping this on a potato, which is a joke if you don't, there's an internet joke about crappy webcams. I have a very old webcam that I use, but it's tried and true, and it's bulletproof, so it's just what I use. If you could, like these comments if you're interested. Also, if you share, I get around the paying Facebook to advertise. If you share these videos with anyone, and like I was saying, my generation, one of my jobs was working with senior citizens and getting them help to apply for a website, and half of these people never even owned a computer before then. I'm very patient. So if you have a senior citizen in your life and you're trying to figure out a way to explain it to them, just share this video with them. I get around having to pay to get these PSAs out. That's why I wanted you to come to my Facebook page for my company. But share them. Help me out here. I'm going to be doing you a service, you do me a service, and just share these videos. What's cool is if I get enough people viewing my PSAs that I actually get a little advertisement money. You may be seeing advertisements pop up on the screen. That's from YouTube, and if I get enough views, I can actually start making a little bit of money with with what I'm doing. So I'm hoping me giving back to the community will eventually give back to me. Well, I'd like to thank you for your time. If you could, please like, share, comment. My name is Jesse Chartrand, and this is a PSA on system security and things you can do in your community to secure your community from cyber threats. Thank you, and have a good day. Bye-bye.